Welcome back.
Welcome back to video 2 of our 3-part series. If you didn't catch the first one, please check it out. It includes intros and an overview of our programs. I'm Helen and Tia, like I said, in case you didn't catch the earlier videos. So today we're going to be jumping into the world of addictions, talking about addictions in general, maybe touching a little bit on gambling, but Tia and I really sat down and tried to figure out what information would be best helpful for someone in the general public and the community for them to make some important decisions, support their friends and family and themselves, and really make things easy to understand. And just, we talked about in the first video of breaking down some of the stigma and the intimidation with the realm of addictions and addictions counseling. And so we're hopeful that the information we share today just adds to some of that work. Mm-hmm. So in the first video, Tia, you had talked about the continuum of services, that whoever walks through the door for you and is here to meet with you, that you're going to first take the time to get to know what's going on for them truly as an individual, and then seeing within where they're at, how you can best support their addictions or substance use issues. Are you able to share a little bit about what that means, the continuum of service, and what it means for you to assess or take in, knowing where someone's at with their addictions at that point?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, when people are coming through the door, from the first time that I meet someone or people meet someone to even before being discharged or leaving clinic, I'm always assessing stages of change. So stages of change really identifies the readiness and the willingness of an individual in regards to wanting to make the change and how important that change is to them. So stages of change is actually called the trans-theoretical model of change. And there's different stages that people go through in regards to points of change. I think it's important to understand that change is a process and it doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people, when they want to make changes to something in their life, they expect it to happen just overnight. And so I think it's really good for people to understand that it's not potentially going to happen like that. And you have to be kind to yourself, and you have to really celebrate those like small little successes that you do get in regards to change. So a lot of times, even just people coming through the clinic and having that first conversation with us, that's a huge success that people need to celebrate, right? So parts of the stages of change the first part is pre-contemplative, and that's actually up on your screen. So the first stage of change is someone that potentially is in the pre-contemplative stage of change, which means that person is often not even thinking about change. They don't think that they have a concern around their substance use or behaviors that they're engaging in. Oftentimes when we see people coming in the clinic that are pre-contemplative, it's often that maybe potentially they're being pushed by care like family members or people who care for them, or for instance maybe like mandated to come here through the court system or some things like that. I think the important thing with people that are coming and they might be in pre-contemplative stage of change is just kind of planting seeds and education, and not kind of pushing your agenda on that person, and allowing them to gain information and awareness and then leave, and then potentially and hopefully in the future when they're ready to access help and services, they're more prepared and they understand what that's going to look like.
I love that, because I think sometimes people attribute, and maybe myself a long time ago when I first started the field, attributed pre-contemplative stage with being in like denial, the big bad word of denial. But what I actually hear from you is it's just another stage of addictions, another stage of being in, a way that's not helpful for someone, that there is things that you can do for someone even in that stage. I love what you said about planting seeds, and just kind of supporting that person to get to the next stage.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times when family members are wanting to support their loved ones and that person isn't ready to access help, denial does come up. A lot of people will deny that there is any problems, but helping family members just identify what can we help and support without pushing, right?
And having a little more of the compassion piece, and We know that when there's addictions in families, that can create, other emotional
Mhm.
responses and issues, and just helping family and friends to get through that really difficult early stage.
Absolutely, yeah. So then the next stage is the contemplation stage of change. So I always kind of see it as like a teeter-totter going back and forth. And people will go back and forth every hour if they're potentially wanting to make change. I'm ready to do it, I'm not ready to do it. So in the contemplative stage of change, people are starting to think about making changes. Oftentimes you're hearing people say, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. Today is the day I'm going to change. So they're starting to understand that there's some harm associated with their use or their behaviors. And they start to wonder if they want to go to that next step and to start to look for some supports and things like that. A huge strategy in contemplation stage of change is actually the pros and cons list, like looking at what are the consequences and what are the positives of the use, looking at the pros and cons of making those changes. That can really help people become aware, and then they can help them better understand and make the appropriate decisions based on where they're at.
I think with contemplation, we oftentimes see a lot of people sharing fears or anxieties in that stage, that they know what they want to see change, but they're afraid, of having to do the things to get to that place of change, or even what it might mean to start taking some of those steps, because it can be something so different than what they've known in the past. So there can be some strong emotions tied to that stage of contemplation.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, because then the third stage of change is preparation, and Helen just kind of talked about that a bit, is like preparing to know what that's going to look like, because a lot of people get stuck with the unknown and not knowing what that's going to feel like. Where do I go? Who do I talk to? What is that person going to look like? All those kinds of things. So allowing preparation to take time and be able to really look at, what do I need to do? What are the services out there? Starting to understand, what am I going to feel like? So if I am coming off of substances, what is my body going to do? How am I going to react? Those kinds of things. So the preparation stage is really, really important. One of the things with people attending detox or treatment, they need to know about wait times. They need to know, how do they refer? How quick is the referral? When can I get in? A lot of people will wonder, can I smoke in treatment? Those kinds of things. And those are things that we really have to prepare for people to know, because if not, then they'll really shy away if they're not ready and prepared.
And I'll actually say, I think those questions are why some people stay in contemplative stage. And I think some people don't know that actually we can help to get some of those answers, that they don't have to sit with those huge unknowns, because those are big questions about treatment. And to help you get to a place of determination or preparation, as you call it, we can be the bridge to get some of those answers.
We can definitely. And if I don't have the answer, I will call and I'll find it out for you. Because there's a lot of stuff that's happening for somebody who ultimately makes a decision to walk through the doors or access support. So, so then after preparation is the action stage of change. So the action stage of change is actually around, like, you are starting to work at obtaining the goal. You have identified the desire. You're actively engaging in outpatient counseling. So that would be potentially at the clinic, or you're attending detox or support groups. So you're actively starting to make those changes. So action stage of change is really about the awareness and what do I need to do and planning ahead.
And then the final stage is
maintenance. Yeah. So maintenance is not that you are completely done and you're never having to think about it again. Maintenance is maintaining that change. So a lot of people in maintenance stage of change are always aware, but they're like also still actively participating in like support groups, or like such as AA or community support groups, or talking to supports in their life. So the awareness around like maintaining and how do I maintain that change that I've made.
Lovely. Yeah. I think one of the misconceptions is that they think the work, so doing counseling, getting treatment, only happens in the action stage, when in fact any of these stages we welcome, you getting information and starting with us at any of these stages at all. And tied to that idea is also that it's not, you finish pre-contemplation and then you go to contemplation and preparation, action, maintenance, and you never have to revisit any of this again, we know that addictions can be really complex. Mental health is really complex. And sometimes there's a part of you that's in contemplation and a part of you that's in action. And, what I'm trying to say is that it's not as, neat and tidy as maybe what it shows up there, but we really do understand that it's personal, it's different for every person. It can be hard to be in one stage and move to the other, but that's why we're here. That's why, there are clinics like us to support. If you want to get connected with us, like we've said before, please call Access Mental Health as a first step to getting connected with us. They'll do an assessment, set you up with where they think you would best benefit from, and hopefully you can start that these stages of change. Thank you so much.